Loosen 3 captive screws from the DIMM door. Grasp the cover at the access notch and lift the cover to release the clips and remove the cover. Place the tabs of the DIMM door into the corresponding slots in the chassis. Lower the cover into place and secure it with 3 captive screws. Remove 4 screws. Lift the drive slightly, then pull to disconnect and remove the hard disk drive from its bay. Remove the rubber bumper from the drive. Uninstall 2 screws from each side of the hard disk drive and the bracket assembly. Lift to separate the hard disk drive from the bracket. Align and place the hard disk drive into the bracket. Secure the bracket with 2 screws on each side of the assembly. Place the rubber bumper onto the drive. Insert the hard disk drive into its bay. Secure the drive with 4 screws. Press the latches outward on each side of the memory module to release it. Gently pull the memory module to remove it. Repeat the process for a second memory module. Insert the memory module into the connector. Press the card down until it latches. Repeat the process for a second memory module. Disconnect the 2 antenna cables. Remove the single retaining screw. Pull the card straight out to remove it. Use a flat non-metallic tool to pry the battery from its adhesive backing. Disconnect the battery cable from the system board. Connect the battery cable to the system board. Lower the battery into its compartment and press it into place using the adhesive backing. Remove 2 screws from the bottom of the system. Turn the system over and slide the keyboard toward the rear of the computer. Lift the front edge, then pull the keyboard slightly toward the front. Turn the keyboard over and lay it on the bezel. Disconnect the keyboard cable and the track point cable from the system board. Place the keyboard face down on the bezel. Connect the track point cable and the keyboard cable to the system board. Turn the keyboard over and set the front edge under the rear edge of the bezel. Lower the keyboard into position and slide the keyboard forward until it is secure. Close the cover and turn the system over. Install 2 retaining screws. Remove 4 short screws and 8 long screws from the base cover. Turn the system over. Disconnect the media card reader cable. Disconnect the USB audio card cable. Disconnect the touchpad cable. Remove 3 screws. Use a non-metallic pry tool to carefully unsnap the keyboard bezel around its edges. Remove the keyboard bezel assembly. Align and lower the keyboard bezel into place and press along its edges to secure it. Install the 3 retaining screws. Connect the media card reader cable. Connect the USB audio card cable. Connect the touchpad cable. Close the cover and turn the system over. Install 4 short screws and 8 long screws into the base. Peel up the cable from its adhesive backing. Remove the single retaining screw. Lift the card up and remove it from the keyboard bezel assembly. Align and place the media card reader into the keyboard bezel assembly. Install the single retaining screw. Secure the cable using the adhesive backing. Peel up the cable from its adhesive backing. Remove the single retaining screw. Lift the card up and remove it from the system. Align and place the USB audio card port into its chassis opening. Install the single retaining screw. Secure the cable using the adhesive backing. Disconnect the speaker assembly cable from the system board. Turn the system over. Lift the locking bar and disconnect the LCD cable from the system board. Disconnect the ThinkPad logo LED card cable. Remove a single screw from the DC-in support bracket and remove it. Remove 2 screws securing the system board to the chassis. Loosen 2 captive screws securing the thermal fan. Lift the left edge of the system board, then pull straight out to remove the system board. Lower the system board into place using the ports and screw post for alignment. Secure the system board with 2 screws. Tighten 2 captive screws in the thermal fan. Lower the DC-in support bracket into place and secure it with a single screw. Connect the LCD cable to the system board and secure the cable using the adhesive backing. Connect the ThinkPad logo LED card cable. Turn the system over and connect the speaker assembly cable. On the bottom of the system board, detach the fan cable. Loosen the 7 numbered captive screws in order. Screw number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Screw number 5, 6, and 7. Carefully lift the thermal fan assembly straight up to remove it. Align and lower the thermal fan assembly into place. Tighten the 7 numbered captive screws in order. Screw number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Screw number 5, 6, and 7. Connect the fan cable to the system board. Remove 3 screws from the battery pack. Release the adhesive from the battery cable. Remove the battery pack. Place the battery pack into the bracket in the base cover. Install 3 screws. Remove 2 screws from the left speaker. Remove 2 screws from the right speaker. Lift the right speaker out of its bracket. Uninstall the cable from the cable guides. Lift the left speaker out of its bracket. Place the left speaker into the bracket in the base cover. Install the speaker cable into the cable guides. Place the right speaker into the bracket. Install 2 screws into the right speaker. Install 2 screws into the left speaker. Remove 2 screws from the right base hinge bracket. Remove 2 screws from the left base hinge bracket. Carefully lift the LCD unit from the chassis. Align and lower the LCD unit hinges onto the corresponding mounting post on the base cover. Install 2 screws into the right base hinge bracket. Install 2 screws into the left base hinge bracket. Install the LCD cable into the cable guides. Remove 3 screws from the hinge base bracket. Lift the base hinge bracket and release the main wireless LAN antenna and cable. Uninstall the black wireless LAN antenna cable from the base cover. Use a non-metallic pry tool to release the auxiliary wireless LAN antenna. Align the auxiliary wireless LAN antenna with its brackets on the base cover. Install the antenna cable into the cable guides. Align the main wireless LAN antenna with its brackets on the base cover. Install the antenna cable into the cable guides. Install the base hinge bracket. Install 3 screws. Apply the metal tape to the bracket. Carefully release the cable from the guide. Using a plastic tool, pry the ThinkPad logo LED card from the chassis. Place the ThinkPad logo LED card on the chassis using the guides for alignment. Install the cable into the guide. Using your fingers, carefully unsnap the LCD bezel along the bottom edge. Work around the edges until loose. Lift the bezel at an angle to detach the hinge covers. Place the LCD bezel onto the LCD panel assembly. Press the hinge covers together until the clips are secure. Press down along the bottom edge to secure the locking clips, then work around the edges until secure. Remove 4 screws securing the LCD panel to the cover. Lift the top of the LCD panel from the back cover and carefully turn the LCD panel over. Unlock the latch. Disconnect the LCD cable from the panel. Carefully place the LCD panel face down on a clean, flat surface. Connect the LCD cable to the LCD panel and lock the latch. Place the LCD panel face up onto the cover. Make sure the LCD cable is in the guides. Secure the panel with 4 screws. Remove the single screw from the top end of the LCD hinge. Remove the 4 screws from the base of the LCD hinge. Tilt the narrow end of the hinge up, then pivot the hinge to remove it. Repeat the process for the other hinge if needed. Lower the hinge onto the chassis, making sure the mounting post and holes are aligned. Install the 4 screws into the base of the LCD hinge. Install a single screw at the top end of the LCD hinge. Repeat the process for the other hinge if needed. Use a flat, non-metallic tool to pry the camera from its post and adhesive backing. Disconnect the cable. Install the camera onto its guide post and press it into place using its adhesive backing. Connect the cable to the integrated camera microphone card. Use a non-metallic tool to carefully remove the ThinkPad logo LED. Carefully uninstall the cable from the cable guides. Beginning at the camera cable connector, Carefully install the cable into the guides towards the ThinkPad logo LED. Press the card into place using the adhesive backing. Continue installing the cable into the cable guides. Install the split-off section of the cable into the left hinge cover with the system board connector going out of the hinge cover area and the LCD panel connector going along the bottom of the LCD cover. Disconnect the battery pack cable from the system board. Connect the battery pack cable to the system board. Remove 6 screws. Lift the trackpad from the keyboard bezel assembly. Place the trackpad onto the keyboard bezel assembly. Install 6 screws.